Today I'm going to be checking out this grease gun here. It is a rechargeable grease gun because it does use batteries. And the cool thing is it uses Makita style batteries. So if you have Makita batteries, then you can use them with this grease gun. Now I was sent this at no cost, so I could do this review. I'm gonna get this thing out of the box, check everything out that it comes with, and we're gonna test it out. So this is everything out of the box. This is the grease gun itself. This kit does not come with a battery. It's expecting you to already have these style batteries, which is one of the reasons you would buy this grease gun. Is if you already have a collection of tools that use this type of battery, well, now you can add the tool and use the same batteries. It comes with a flexible hose, but it also comes with a straight fixed hose, and it comes with a grease needle and a regular grease zerk ending and a locking grease zerk ending. So that's cool. A lot of them do not come with a locking tip like this. These are awesome. Of course, it does come with the manual that goes over everything about it. So I'm going to put this thing together the way I would use it, and we're going to test this thing out. All right, so I have it set up now how I would typically use my grease guns, my other grease guns. I put the rubber hose on it because having a flexible hose that is actually kind of long is important. Sometimes I have to lube a zerk that is somewhere deeper inside of the tractor and you can't stick this whole thing in there to get it. So very common for me to use that. And I like the locking grease heads. So again, you're in a weird place, you push that on, you can at least keep it locked on when you're doing it. Plus, this lets you put in a lot higher PSI of grease. Sometimes those grease zerks, they get clogged up or, the grease in there gets kind of old. So you really have to use some of that pressure to get the grease into the zerk and what needs to be lubed. So that's how I would set that up. Now, there are different ways to set this up too. You could take this plug out and put it in the top, and you can put this here so it comes out the front. I typically hold my grease guns like this though. It's just the way the weight naturally wants to work. So I like it out the top. Now this one also has, this is a multifunction valve. It's really a release valve, but it works for different reasons. If you get air pockets or if the grease pressure in the tube gets too high and you can't get the zerk off properly, or if you're trying to even take the grease end off of this, you need to be able to release the pressure out of the hose. So that's there. You have a release valve here also. That is to release pressure out of the tube and what's going up into the hose. So this is good to release pressure when you have a problem, or if you feel like this is wanting to stop working because the pressure is getting too high. This also has a lock on it. I like that. So that way, if you have it in your toolbox, it doesn't just accidentally hit the trigger. So right now I have it in unlock. If you put it on lock, it doesn't let you push the trigger in. Now, you want to be careful with it, not break it, but it's meant to just kind of keep that trigger from being easily pushed in. If you put it back to unlock, you can run it. I do have the battery in it. So all the things I would expect out of a grease gun, it does have a LCD readout up here on the top to give you status of your battery, and has this little connection here if you want to put this grease gun on like a cable or something in your shop, so that way it's always just kind of hanging around and you grab it and pull it when you need it. But I think other than that, most of the things are pretty standard on this. So now I'm going to go get some grease put in it. So to start with, I've got my tube of general purpose grease, and I pulled the metal cap off the end, as you can see here, and I am sliding it into the tube. And then after I've got it in there, I screw it onto the grease gun here so we can get this grease gun ready to go. I now have the battery put in, and you can even check this thing up here on top. It shows it's 100%. I just installed this new trailer tongue jack, and it probably has a little bit of grease in it from the factory, but I want to get it all nice and greased up. It does have a grease zerk right here to do that. So I'm going to use this grease gun to get it all greased up. Now I just put grease in here. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is get grease through this. There's going to be air pockets, everything in there. I'm going to want to get grease going through the hose. So I'm going to hold this while I'm squeezing the trigger just so I can see grease come out, so I know I'm to the point where the grease is going through. And to do that, it's going to be best to not point this. Don't sit there and stare at it down the hole. Have it facing away, maybe over a trash can, over something that's going to catch the grease. But you just want to do it long enough to make sure you can start getting grease out of this head so you know it's all the way through the line. All right, so if that will focus, as you can see, now there is grease coming out of the head of this. And you'll also notice a difference in sound as this starts pumping the actual grease instead of just air. So you'll kind of know when this is coming. So you get this now, you squeeze the two arms in. This is the locking head. So you squeeze the two arms in, you come over here, and you gotta snap it on kind of snug, but you gotta make sure it goes on good. And then those arms will release and this thing will slide over it. Now it's locked. Then you make sure this is unlocked, which it should be because you just ran through grease. And then you grease it up. Now, if you grease up your equipment and things like that regularly, you probably don't need to do this for more than maybe 10, 15 seconds, but I don't know what's in here. I don't know if they have any grease in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack this thing pretty good. All right, so I like a little bit of a pressure pop here. That means it probably has quite a bit of grease in there. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that off. And that's it, you're greased up. Go ahead and put this back to the lock position. Then you go ahead, wind this thing up, take the battery out, put it on the shelf until the next time you need it. I hope this information was helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care.